Record. Okay, welcome everybody. I am so excited to be doing this workshop. This is a brand new workshop. These are fresh slides, literally just finished them last night. And I am so excited to share this information with you. These are 3 budgeting tips that you need to know now. It is kind of like best kept secrets, biggest, most common mistakes that I see my one-on-one coaching clients making. And they really want to share them with you guys today because I feel like these are kind of like make or break type of tips. If you know these, you will most likely be super successful with your budget, and that is what we want, right? So for those of you who are new to my community, I am Sami. I am a wife to my high school sweetheart, Daniel. Yes, we have been together since I was 15 and he was 18, a very long time. Very close to 18 years of dating, almost 13 years of being married. We have 3 daughters, June, Izzy, and Mel. We are a homeschooling family, and we are from East Texas. This is just a little preview of our life. We love boating, we love camping, we love going for nature walks, just all the things. And this is a picture here. This is our very first boat that we bought. We're on our 2nd boat now. This was a few years ago. This was the first big thing that we cash flowed. It was a huge deal, even though it was like a 30-year-old boat. It was a $6,000 boat, not the most luxurious boat in the world, but you can imagine that we were super, super pumped. It was a huge milestone for our family and just really like the gateway for us to be living our most abundant life, which is basically what a sunny side up life is all about, is you actualizing your dreams, living your best life, and all of that. Then this over here with Daniel and I in front of his truck, that's the most expensive thing we've ever cash flowed, his $25,000 truck, which was a huge, huge moment. And then just some camping photos of us down here, just, you know, living our best life. So this is kind of me and my family in a nutshell. You can follow me if you don't already. I'm on social media everywhere at the Sunny Side Up Life, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I have a podcast, which is coming back soon. I've been on a summer break because I've been prepping things like this amazing workshop and some other really exciting things that I'm going to tell you about in just a little bit. But the podcast is coming back very soon. YouTube is coming back very soon. So follow me everywhere if you don't already, and just enjoy all of the amazing free content that I have. We put a lot of work into it, me and my team, and I'm just very proud of it. So make sure you're taking advantage of that. Before we really get into the slides, I want to make sure to remind you to stop scrolling, put your phone on silent, flip it over. That's what mine is doing over here. It's on silent, it's flipped over. I'm not distracted. And I want you to get the most out of this. So get comfortable, get a cup of coffee and some water if you don't already have some. Really sit in and join me and invest this time in yourself. Grab a notebook because I'm going to be throwing a lot of information at you that I don't want you to miss. And feel free to take screenshots of any slides that you need. I do this a lot when I watch workshops, so I can go back and, you know, review them if it's something like a lot of info, right? So definitely feel free to do that. All right. So you guys, you showed up here today because you want a budget maybe, but you don't know where to start. Maybe you haven't started at all. That's totally fine. You're in the right place. Maybe you just want some real solutions for getting your budget set up. Like the internet is full of things, but you're like, okay, but what do I actually do, right? Like sifting through all of the advice on the internet is sometimes overwhelming. So we are going to break that today. You know, like I mentioned earlier, these are 3 of the best tips that will guarantee your success with budgeting. Maybe you're just looking for those tips. You're like, give me the top 3. I don't have time for like the top 10 or top 20. Break it down. Give me the top 3. You're in the right place. Maybe you've tried budgeting before, but you feel like you're still missing something, which is very, very common. About half of my coaching clients, they are like, hey, I have this spreadsheet kind of set up. Can I share it with you? Like, let's go from there. I am going to tell you the biggest mistake that those folks are making. And don't worry, I made this mistake too, so you're not alone. Um, and you basically, all of us here, we want to gain financial freedom, no matter where you are on the journey. If you are 7 years into your journey, like me and my family are, and we are still striving for financial freedom, even this far into our journey. That's basically what we're all here for, right? You guys, let me know in the chat what money goals you are working on for 2021. I would love to know. I would love to cheer you on. Me and my family personally, we are trying to build a house in this crazy lumber market, if you've been keeping up with it at all. We bought land about a year ago, and so that is really our main goal right now, is like everything is funneling towards saving for our house down payment, right? Carmen says she wants to invest. Amazing. I have a really great YouTube video that you should watch if you haven't already about IRAs. It will definitely get you started. So these are 3 budgeting tips that you need to know now. I'm going the wrong way on the slides. There we go. Number 1 is going to be how to pick your budget period length and some mistakes that I see people making and how to do it correctly. How to organize your bank accounts, how many bank accounts I recommend, and how to set up a true budget. Like what I just said, sometimes people just have kind of a spreadsheet of like a dumping place for all their info, and how that's not really a true budget. And I'll tell you the mistake that I see these folks making and how to fix that. And I'm going to show you lots of actionable tips, helpful examples along the way. Like I said, make sure you have a notebook or be ready to screenshot. So before we go into all of that, I want to kind of just tell you guys like who I am and where I started. That I didn't start like cash flowing $25,000 trucks. I mean, if you would have told me that 8 or 10 years ago, I would have literally laughed in your face. There is no possible way. Like, only crazy rich people do that, not normal people, not like young families. My husband works on a boat. Like, he is in oil transportation, fuel transportation. Like, that's not something that our kind of people do, right? Like, that's just, we both grew up very lower middle class, things like that, living on credit cards, parents getting cars repossessed, parents filing bankruptcy. That was both of our childhoods. Okay, that was just normal life for us. And in 2014, as we were having our second daughter, Izzy, we hit rock bottom. Like I said, Daniel works on boats. He was up in New York at the time, in New York Harbor. We're in East Texas. As you can imagine, that's a little bit of a flight, right? To get home to his wife, who is about to give birth and also has a 3-year-old running around. And we almost didn't get him home because we didn't have enough money for that last minute flight when it was time for me to give birth. So we had to max out our last credit card. It was complete rock bottom. And then what's really crazy, and you guys might feel this way too, is that it wasn't just like a light bulb. Oh, this is rock bottom. Okay, let's change everything. We basically stayed at that rock bottom for like 9 months. It was pretty dark. We had our electricity cut off several times. We were almost always overdrawn in our bank account when it came time for payday. And we were raising 2 kids in this life. We were also living in a 3,000 square foot, beautiful, gorgeous house. We also drove a brand new truck, but yeah, we were getting our electricity cut off. It was actually sickening and embarrassing. Like, I'm embarrassed, but I've been to therapy, so I'm okay. I can share it. But our debt totaled $490,000. We actually had no idea that it was that out of control. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know people in our real life that had budgeted. Like, that was us, right? We didn't think that real regular people who grew up shopping at Goodwill would ever be debt free. Like, that's not a real thing. But we learned through trial and error. We grew our family. We decided to have a surprise 3rd baby in the middle of all of this. We got serious about it. We turned our life around. And then, like the pictures I showed you earlier, we started slowly living our abundant life by cash flowing our first boat, saving more, cash flowing our other vehicles, and just, getting to the point where we are now. We broke a lot of budgeting rules along the way, the quote unquote budgeting rules that some of the gurus share. But we were 100% debt free for about 2.5 years. Like I said, last year we bought 18 acres. Our net worth is about 340,000 right now, and we're still saving to start building our dream house. Yeah. Before we really go into all these success tips, I hope that you have probably found out from now that, for one, I try to have a good sense of humor about this because mistakes were made in the past, but that doesn't necessarily define our future. Also, the fact that this is never going to be perfect. If you're a perfectionist like me, I'm an Enneagram 3, I'm an achiever, I'm the oldest child, which automatically makes me want to be the best at everything, be a perfectionist. I'm also a Leo, so I am just an overachiever, Leo, oldest child perfectionist. And guess what? Your budget will never be perfect. Like, note to self and note to you, it will never be perfect, and that's okay. You can still reach cash flowing vehicles. You can still reach a $300,000 net worth and it not be perfect. Isn't that kind of a weight off? Like, whew, I don't have to be perfect. Sweet, thanks. It doesn't have to be perfect for you to make progress. You just have to be brave enough to move forward anyway, because our dreams are worth it, right? They're big enough. Cash flowing boats and living on 18 acres is worth it. So number one tip for success, here we go. Grab your notebook if you don't have it already. I'm gonna grab a sip of coffee. Let's see. Number one, pick your budget period length. Okay, this is a huge mistake that I see a lot of people making. A lot of times when I start with one-on-one coaching clients, sometimes they've already kind of started their own budget. Even if it's on paper, you know, maybe they'll take pictures of it and send me pictures, or if they have a spreadsheet, they'll share it with me. So I've seen this a lot. People try to squeeze their budget into a monthly budget, and a lot of the apps will encourage us to do this as well. That works for some, but it doesn't work for everyone. And furthermore, even if a monthly budget does work for you, that doesn't necessarily mean that your month has to start on the 1st. That is a huge mistake. Your budget should actually start on your payday. So say you get a monthly check and you get it on the 15th, every single 15th. Well, your budget should start, you can still have a monthly budget, but it should run from 15th to 14th of the following month, right? It is much more effective. Or if you get paid every 2 weeks, your budget period should be 2 weeks long, from payday till the day before the next payday, right? This is really going to set you up for success. So say, for example, you get paid every other Friday. I have a little screen share calendar here for you. So what you would do is you would kind of like circle all your paydays or jot them down, scribble them down on a notepad, which is what I do for my clients. So say they get paid, they're like, okay, yeah, my next payday is on the 6th, and then I'll get paid again on the 20th, right? So that's my pay schedule. So your budget period would run from the 6th to the 19th. And you would include all of the bills that are due during that period. You would include any spending money you need. You're like, oh yeah, actually on the 14th, like we're going out of town. We need a little extra spending money because we're gonna, you know, have a weekend away, or, you know, somebody's coming to visit. So we're gonna have to buy a little bit more on groceries, whatever it is, what's happening in those days, right? And you make your budget accordingly. You continue on that pattern for the rest of the year. So if you are a one income household, you simply just start on payday, right? That's pretty straightforward. But what if you have multiple streams of income? People really get hung up on this. There are a few ways that you could go about this. I'm going to show you a few examples. Let me know in the comments if you're not sure how long your budget period length should be. If you have a question, just let me know about it and I'll do my best to answer it. So option one, you can follow the pay schedule of the income source that brings in the most money and add in the other incomes as they fall. So a good rule of thumb is like, what paycheck are you waiting to like pay your rent or pay your mortgage or pay your car payment, like the big payments, right? If one of the streams of income is a little bit lower, like you're like, oh yeah, that's kind of nice to like sprinkle in some extra spending money here and there, but we don't really depend on that income for to pay our rent, then go with the bigger pay, right? Just kind of sprinkle the other one in as it falls. If your income amounts are pretty close to the same, which I've also seen this happen, maybe like you have two partners and they earn about the same amount of money, but they get paid on different schedules. Like, well, which one should we follow? Follow the schedule that is more frequent. So say one partner gets paid biweekly and the other one gets paid monthly, follow the biweekly. So you would have like partner one is like biweekly, right? In a month, so you have like 2 budget periods. And then partner 2 gets paid monthly, so their income is only on the second one, right? So kind of follow that pattern. Option 3 is if paydays vary throughout the month, like maybe you work on tips or sales or, you know, something like that, where it's kind of uncommon, like you do like per job work. And it's just like, oh, well, as I finish a job, that's when I get paid. Simply just do a monthly budget and just run it from the 1st to the 31st and just add in the income whenever it comes up. Simple as that. Make it a goal if it is like this, if it is kind of inconsistent amounts or inconsistent timing, make it your goal to get a month ahead, right? If you have a steady income, but also irregular side hustles, just follow the pattern of your regular job and then sprinkle in the side hustles as they come, okay? Oh, Carmen has a great question. My husband gets paid weekly and I get paid bi-weekly. We are paid salary, so it's always the same. So follow my husband's, yes. So his is weekly, so his is more frequent. So you would follow his. So it would be like husband, both of us, husband, both of us, right? Like that's how the income would fall in the different budget periods. So hope that helps. So plug in your dates. So grab your calendar, like I showed you with the little, where to go, January thing here. Grab that, do that. Open it up on your computer and just grab some notes, whatever you need to do. Grab your calendar, fill in your budget period. So usually when I'm doing this for a client, I'll just grab a scrap piece of notebook paper and I'll just jot down like January 6th to January 20th and just like write through the whole entire year. And then I'll go back and plug it into the worksheets and I'll type the whole entire length. This is a silly detail, but it actually really helps. So instead of just saying, oh, January 6th is our budget period, here we go. Come on, Sammy. Okay. Instead of just saying January 6th, you would say January 6th to January 19th, because it will help you to remember to include, say, that bill that's due on like the 17th. And if it just said January 6th, you would be like, wait, but when does it end? And then you have to think about it for a couple extra seconds. We don't need that extra stress. So go ahead and just put the whole entire length. So here's a quick example, a screenshot. Sorry if it's a little blurry. Some of these get blurry when I blow them up. But I always recommend, this is kind of a bonus tip, that you put your bills in order of due dates. You can kind of see this before, like we just did like a brain dump. We dumped them all in and then we went back and kind of rearranged them, because that way you can go back when you have your budget links plugged in here. You can go back and grab the bills like I've done here with the yellow highlights. Okay, these are the bills that are due within the dates, right? You can just kind of copy and paste them. You can also go back and kind of sprinkle in like, okay, this is weekly. Okay, this is kind of, you know, the irregular bills. So that's really helpful. And then you can just paste them in. Also, if you're using my worksheets, there's drop-down options. Just a little bonus tip. Okay, tip number 2. Anybody have any questions about tip number 1? Pop them in the chat if you have them. So tip number 2 is I recommend having 5 different bank accounts. This is for optimal organization. This is one of the biggest success factors. Actually, it's number 2 on my list. That's why it's number 2 on my list. It is the second biggest success factor, in my opinion, is having your bank accounts organized like this. This is groundbreaking. This is revolutionary for my clients. As soon as they do it, sometimes they argue, sometimes they're stubborn, sometimes they're like, I don't know, it's kind of a lot of bank accounts. And I'm like, please just trust me and just do it. And once they do it, they're like, okay, I got you. Like, this is why you recommend it. So take a screenshot of this if you haven't heard me talk about this before. So basically, account number 1 is your bills account. This is the account that you're going to pay your bills out of. You're not buying groceries out of this account. Usually this is the account that people will get their paycheck deposited into. It's kind of like the hub account, like kind of where everything starts, and then we do the transfers from there. And then your spending account will also be a checking account. You can have a debit card attached to this. You'll transfer only your spending money, which we're going to talk about that more in just a second. And also a sinking fund. If you've never heard of a sinking fund, revolutionary. It will change your life. I used to recommend a sinking fund as a savings account, but kind of the more I've practiced it, the more I've seen my clients practice it, I really think that it's more successful to have it as a checking account with a debit card. Some people still prefer to do a savings account, but I have kind of switched to having it as a checking account because I'm Christmas shopping, for example, I'm getting an oil change. I like to have a debit card to swipe. That's just me. I don't want to have to do the transfers. So number 4 is your emergency fund. You want to have this directly linked to one of your checking accounts so you can do quick instant transfers. Like, I don't know, for example, your camper has a blowout and you on the way to a camping trip and you have to call a tow truck and it's like $200 something on the side of the road. The tow truck guy doesn't want to wait for you to go and pull the cash out from underneath your bed, right? Or get it out of a safety deposit box. They want it right then. Speaking from experience. Number 5 is like your next goal fund. I love to have this in a high yield savings account so you can actually earn a little bit of money. So why 5 bank accounts? Okay, so the whole idea behind these is that only the money that you need to pay your bills is in your bills account. The reason why is because you don't want to accidentally spend your bill money on restaurants or grocery stores, okay? Nothing worse than swiping your card at Walmart and wondering like, oh wait, did the electric bill come out? I can't remember. Wait, I'm in line. Wait, my kids are acting crazy. Wait, oh, that's too much. That's too stressful. You do that every day of the week. That's crazy. Don't do that. Simplify it. Only having your spending money in your spending account is so you don't have to double check what bills have cleared. You don't have to remember while you're in line at Walmart and your kids are acting a fool whether or not your electric bill has cleared. You know for sure how much you are allowed to spend because you know your spending balance, right? Or you can just log into your bank account app real quick, see that balance, and be good to go without having to double check what's cleared and what hasn't. Only having your sinking funds in your sinking fund account is so you don't accidentally tap into your Christmas money or your vacation money, because there's nothing worse than chipping money away, like setting money away all year for something big like Christmas or vacation or a big home project and being unintentional about it and accidentally spending it throughout the year. And then you get to Christmas and you're like, oh, oops, I have no money. That's why we keep it in a separate account. Only having your savings in your savings account is so you don't overspend unintentionally and chip away at that emergency fund. I know a lot of people that try to keep their emergency fund mixed in with their bills. Like, well, if my $1,000 or my $3,000 or whatever their emergency fund is, it's just sitting in my bills account. I want to be able to get to it. Have it in an account that's digitally linked so you can get to it instantly, but you can't get to it accidentally. Okay. So a little bit more about each one of these accounts. The bills account is where our deposits go into it. Like I said, it's like the hub kind of, everything kind of starts there and then transfers out. So you include things like your housing, your utilities, your subscriptions, things that have a due date, things that we more or less know the amount. Of course, like your utilities can fluctuate and things like that. And this is usually best with a debit card or a credit card. If you prefer credit cards, if you're responsible with them, you could have a credit card that's only for your bills, and then you just pay it off every time you get paid, right? Number 2 is your spending account. So you transfer your spending allowance for that budget period. So say it's every 2 weeks. You're like, okay, what do I need for gas, groceries, restaurants, some fun money? What do I need for the next 2 weeks? Okay, it's $1,000. Transfer only $1,000 to your spending. And there you go. When it's gone, right? This is really best with the debit card. You can also use a credit card. If you do credit cards, at least make sure that you have a separate credit card for bills and a separate credit card for spending. That will really help you just keep it organized. Or you could do cash. but cash does not work for everyone. So I like to give you guys options. I am a debit card person. That's what works best for me. Account number 3 is a sinking fund. So again, transfer from your bills account on payday, your amounts that you need. So you have done the math on like, okay, I want to spend $1,200 on Christmas. I have 12 months to do it. I'm going to set aside $100 a month and be ready for it, right? So on payday, you would transfer that $100 Christmas allowance kind of over to your sinking fund. It would sit there and kind of pile up until you need it. This could also be for like vehicle maintenance, home maintenance, projects around the house, vacations, clothes, kids' activities, like if they have sign-up fees, birthdays. I mean, really, there's an endless possibility. The sinking fund is kind of this magical place between like spending and savings. It's money that you save up for over time, but it's also money that you intended to spend all along. So you don't have to feel guilty about it because you're like, yeah, I knew I was going to spend the Christmas money when November rolls around. I planned to spend it all along. I just had to save up for it for a little bit. So like I said, I've kind of come around to having this account as a debit card. So like when you are out Christmas shopping, or you're ordering a birthday present online, or you're getting your oil change, you're buying the airline ticket for a vacation, you have a debit card to do that with. You could do it with a savings account, and you could just transfer the money into your spending account. That does get a little messy. Or you could do cash. A lot of people do cash for their sinking funds, and it works really great for them. Account number 4 is your emergency fund. Again, you transfer if you need to, fill it back up from your bills account. You want it to be available for quick, instant transfers. Make sure that it's linked to at least one of your checking accounts. And like I said, I prefer to have this as a savings account. You could have it in cash. You could have some in cash and some in instant transfers. Number 5 is your next goal fund. So this is where it really gets fun with budgeting. This is the kind of the account that you include like larger purchases if you plan to like cash flow a vehicle, or save up for a down payment on something, or cash flow like a big home renovation project or something like that. You can put that kind of money there. And this can be in a high yield savings account. Most high yield savings accounts, it's going to be like a 1 to 3 business day transfer time where it's kind of pending. And so you don't really want to have your emergency fund here because you want to be able to get to your emergency fund instantly. But this money, you're not going to need, you're going to have some warning right before you go and buy a vehicle, or before you go and put a down payment on a house or something like that, or you should. You don't really need all of that money to be instant. So you can let it be in a high yield savings account. You can earn a little bit of interest and have it that way. All right. Tip number 3. Any questions? Okay. Tip number 3. So this is, I did these in order. So this is like, you have to do this to have a successful budget. I have seen it time and time again. I used to do this too, and I used to wonder why my budget wasn't working, because it wasn't a budget. Having a list is not the same as having a budget. Okay, I'll explain. We think that we are being so adult. Like, I totally did this. I used to have this ginormous dry erase board that sat above my desk. And this was like when we first got married. This was like, I was trying to be a big girl, trying to do my budget. And I just had a list of due dates and bills. Like, it was like, okay, first, this is due, this is how much it is. And I would do like a little check mark. And then a new month, I would just like erase my check marks. And I'm like, I'm doing a budget. I wasn't doing a budget. I was making a list. So a list of your bills is not a budget. A list of transactions after the fact, you're like, well, after I spend all my money, I go back like at the end of the month or the end of the week, and I log all my transactions. Like, I go back and log, this is how much I spent on restaurants, this is how much I spent on groceries. Like, I logged my transactions. Isn't that a budget? That is not a budget. You did it after the fact. That is important, but it's not really the only thing you need to do. Knowing how much debt you're in. Sometimes I will get clients where they're like, well, I have this like really fancy spreadsheet where I've listed all my bills. I know when they're due. I also know how much debt I'm in, but I don't know why it hasn't been successful. That's because you were missing some things. It wasn't a real budget. Knowing how much money you have in your accounts, that's not the same thing. Okay. So what you need to do is, for a true budget, is you have to plan out your income. Like we just talked about, how long is your budget period? Plug in how much your paycheck will be during that time, right? You have to know your income. You have to know what bills are due during that specific amount of time. So like we said earlier, if your budget goes from the 6th to the 19th, how much income is coming in during the 6th to the 19th? How much bills are going out between the 6th to the 19th? How much spending money do you need between the 6th and the 19th, right? And then, is there money left over? What do you do with that leftover money? Tell that leftover money where to go. That is a true budget. Not only that, you have to do that into the future. You have to do that for the entire year, ideally. That is a true budget. Okay, that is a true budget. So you plan out, okay, this is my income minus my bills and my spending equals what is left over. And then you repeat this payday after payday into the future months. And you know for sure when you'll have money left over and when you won't. That's a true budget. If your leftover numbers are negative, you need to go back and you need to adjust some things. Simple. It happens all the time. You plan out your budget. You're like, well, I'd like to do this. I'd like to do that. I'd like to, pay a little extra on debt. I'd like to do that. Oh, wait. Oh, oops, this comes out to negative. Okay, what do we do? It's not the end of the world. You just go and work backwards. You're like, okay, well, did I really need all that spending money? Usually spending is like the first thing we cut. We're like, actually, we could cut back a little bit on that spending. I was being generous. Could you wait to pay a bill? Sometimes we want to pay a bill early. Or maybe there's like a little bit of a grace period. We could like push it a couple days. Maybe we wanted to pay a little extra on a bill. We're like, oh, actually, I could just pay the actual minimum. I don't have to pay extra. That's a possibility. Or if is it negative, like you're like, oh, actually, like in 4 weeks, I'm going to have a negative budget. So I'm going to go ahead and set a little bit of money aside now. So I'll be ready for it, which is usually that's what we end up doing actually. Or do I need to just earn some extra income? Like if you already have a side hustle and you're like, I'll just work a little extra. I'll just put in a little overtime, or I'll just find some things around the house to sell. You could do one of these, you could do all of these, right? What if your leftover number is positive? Well, that's really exciting, but sometimes that trips us up more than it being negative. So we're like, oh wait, I have extra money left over? How is that possible? And sometimes we get a little nervous about it, right? We're like, what happened? We could send it to debt. We could send it to savings. We could increase our spending a little bit. What a crazy concept. We're like, actually, I could go out to dinner another time. Cool, sweet. We could do a little bit of everything. But when you've only planned 2 weeks or 1 month into the future, you don't know, 6 weeks from now that there is going to be a negative budget period. You're not prepared for it, right? Or you don't know for sure. Now you're like, wait, there's extra money left over. What are your first thoughts? You don't feel 100% comfortable using that leftover money, truly sending it to debt or saving it or spending it, because you're like, what if, right? This is what happens. I see this almost every time. You're like, well, I have money left over, so I must have calculated something wrong. That's almost always our first thought, right? Or, well, I better hang on to this because what if I need it next month? Sometimes we don't have enough. Or what if my paycheck is a little low next month? Like, what if we worry? We don't feel confident with it. Or what if I have an emergency, right? With a real budget, you have that peace of mind because you planned like a year in advance. So you know for sure that in 6 weeks, you're going to have a budget that's a little bit short. It's going to be $100 short. You're going to go ahead and set that $100 aside. You can spend whatever is extra. You can save whatever is extra. You can pay whatever extra to debt. Like you're ready for those budget periods that are negative in the future. Or confidently there's going to be money left over every single budget period for the rest of the year. Okay, cool. I can pay debt. I can pay this debt. It gives you that peace of mind. You know for sure. You know for sure. You also know for sure that you'll be ready for an emergency, because in a true budget, you've set up your emergency fund. So you don't need to hang on to that money just in case. You don't have to hoard it. You're ready for an emergency already. So then when there is money left over, you can confidently apply it to your goals, debt, savings, spend it, whatever you're doing. You also, because you've done sinking funds, you know that you're on track for your holidays. You're like, but what if I'm not ready for Christmas? No, you have sinking funds, like, you know for sure you're ready. You know for sure you're going to be ready for your vacation next summer. Like, you're ready ahead of time. This is a little peek inside my worksheet. Again, this is a little blurry, sorry. But it kind of gives you this idea of like, okay, here, like, we've planned out this 2-week period. Over here, we've planned out the other 2-week period. We've plugged in our income, we've plugged in our bills, we've plugged in our spending for each 2-week period. And then if you would scroll in my worksheets, you would be able to do the whole entire year. And this is what we do. Like, this is the essence of what we do in coaching. So let me know if you have any questions about anything that I just shared. But to recap, you guys, I want you to hear me when I say that there is a better way. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm living proof of that, right? I am not some special person who has this gene that makes me magic and good with money or whatever. We all have the potential to do the things that I've done. Like, honestly, I don't want you to waste another year trying to do this alone. What breaks my heart the most is when my clients get their budget set up and they're like, why didn't I do this sooner? I should have done this sooner. Do it now. Like, don't let yourself stay in that moment and like beat yourself up over it. Do it now. Stop being stubborn. Stop beating yourself up from the past. It is not going to be rainbows and butterflies, and it's not going to be perfect. I already told you that, but it doesn't have to be perfect to be successful. Okay. It also is not really as hard as we think it is. It's not really that bad. I've lived my most abundant, best years of my life on a budget, guaranteed. It has made my life more fulfilling. It has made my marriage happier. It has made me more present with my kids. It has made me, it's made me be who I truly am, right? So maybe you showed up here today because you wanted to start with your budget. You wanted some real tips for having a successful budget. Maybe you've tried before. Maybe you're doing the list thing like I was talking about, and you want to be able to step it up a notch. You basically probably just want financial freedom like the rest of us, right? Maybe that's why you showed up here today. So I have this invitation for you, you guys. Like I said, I want you to stop living in survival mode. I want you to do the work. What I love most about my work is that it changes lives, okay? It is about so much more than just the numbers. Don't get me wrong, I love a good spreadsheet, but what is really important is the person behind that budget, okay? It is about people's dreams. It is about people's values. Like you saw earlier with my pictures of my family, our dreams, our values are spending quality time together as a family, going on adventures, going on the boat, going camping, going on hikes, going kayaking, going, doing all of these things. That's our dreams. That's our values. And so we make sure that our money reflects that, right? Your dream might be traveling the world. Your dream might be starting a business. Your dream might be switching from working full time to being a stay-at-home parent, or starting your own business, or retiring while you can still walk, right? Like whatever your dream is, that make your budget reflect that, okay? I want you to stop living in survival mode. I want you to get closer to living that most abundant life, being who you truly are inside and making your money reflect that. I want you to take control of the situation. We're not going to sit in a puddle and play victim to our lives. We are going to take control of the situation, right? That's what we do. We've all had our struggles. There are things that we can't control in life that, are obstacles, but we're going to overcome that. We're going to get serious about our money. We're going to get serious about our goals, because we're going to act like this is our only one life, because it is. And we're going to start enjoying financial freedom. So what I hinted about earlier was that I've been taking a break from YouTube and podcasting because I've been working on updating my budgeting course. My budgeting course is getting close to 4 years old, the original version. So much has changed in the world with COVID, and just so much has changed in my experience since I've been doing one-on-one coaching. I wasn't doing one-on-one coaching when I came out with the original version of the course. So I've seen so much more up close. I've experienced so many other people's budgets that I really felt like it was time for an update, right? And just, I took all of that and kind of bundled it into this. So this is my newest version of Your Sunny Money Method. It is my self-paced course. It is available now. If you were to join, like, module 1 is already out. Like, it's ready. I'm so excited. So a little bit about the course. It's a self-paced budgeting course. It is simple method to budgeting. If you like what you saw here today, your brain will explode when you get inside the course. Like, it is so, so good. It is designed for the overwhelmed woman who wants to help her family break free from survival mode, whatever your family looks like for you, right? That might be you and your 20 kids. That might be you and your fur babies. That might just be you and yourself living your best life. Whatever that looks like for you, it will work for you, right? I work with clients at every stage of life, every family situation. That's what we're all about. My course, it has short, actionable lessons. There's not a lot of fluff. I'm not going to waste your time. If I am talking about something, it's because I think that it will add value to your budgeting experience. I'm not going to waste your time with a bunch of other crap, right? I don't have time for that, neither do you. It will help you work through why and how to set up your budget, okay? It is the best. So we follow the same exact topics that I talk about in one-on-one coaching. We follow the same exact strategies. Part of the reason why I really wanted to update it was because I wanted to change the order of topics that we talk about to be the exact same order that we cover in coaching. So we literally start with what I would talk to you about. Like, the whole first module is basically the first coaching call. And then we kind of like follow that pattern. I put in all of the things. I basically bottled up one-on-one coaching and put it into this nice, neat little self-paced package. So it's more of a self-paced package. It's, a little less intense, things like that. So we follow this pattern. We organize the money. We prepare for the entire year, just like I was talking about. So if I was talking about that and you're like, an entire year, is she insane? I can't do that. This course will help you do that, right? It'll help you take action on each specific payday. It'll help you know, like, what bills to pay, how much to put for spending, what to do when there is money left over, how to prioritize. Say you have 5 different goals you want to save money for. Which one do I pick? What order do I pay my debt off in? All those questions are all in here. We also talk about how to grow your wealth. I know a lot of people, we're talking about investing, and that was a comment a minute ago. How to enhance your mindset. Of course, I'm going to put the sunny side spin on it, right? And we're going to talk about how to live a more positive and abundant life. There are also bonus modules in here. There are tutorials, like screen share, of how to use things that you can't find anywhere else. There are on-demand workshops, my past workshops that I've hosted. There's an entire module full of other videos that I've put out that are super helpful, and it's all right there in one neat little package. But you guys, you don't have to take my word for it. I have tons of screenshots from past clients. Like I said, this course has been out for nearly 4 years. So a lot of ladies have been through it. These clients are getting motivated, right? They're doing it. This one says, I've gotten started today and I feel it's much less overwhelming and I can try to do this with a friendly face. Like I said earlier, it's actually not as scary as you think it's going to be, right? Like this person, like it doesn't take long to see results either. That's what I love. Like this person said, I just want to thank you again for your motivation. I feel like I'm finally making progress in this journey. I'll be able to pay off 2 of our credit cards in 1 month. Just a little bit of intentionality. This person filled out my entire survey, and my favorite line was they said, this is the first thing that's worked in our entire 7-year marriage. Serious stuff. There are tons more of these testimonials if you follow the link here that you can read for yourself. But you guys, this is your invitation to start living your dreams. I would love for you to join the 2.0 version. It also includes my worksheets. So if you saw me earlier doing the screen share, it also includes my worksheets. If you've seen me share about my worksheets on social media, it includes those. That's a $20 value. Like I said, it includes the topics and the structure, the outline that I teach on one-on-one coaching, but it's more a self-paced nice little package. You don't have to invest the time to get on Zoom calls with me, to set aside time in your busy schedule. You can do this on your own time, which that alone, a one-on-one session with me is about a $560 value. So this is a $580 value at least, not to mention the fact that it's going to change your life, right? That's priceless. So on August 21st, the course, the new version of the course is going to be available to the general public. I will post it on my Instagram. I'll post it on Facebook. Like anyone can join at that point for $297. But since you guys are here, you've invested this time in yourself, I know you're excited, I'm going to give you the early bird discount where you can save $50 if you go ahead and join before it releases to the general public. So if you join by August 20th, which also happens to be my birthday, which is why I made that the deadline, which is also happens to be a Sunny Side Up Life's birthday because I launched on my birthday. But you guys, my clients are changing their lives. They're achieving their dreams. This is what it's all about. Your Sunny Money Method could be that tool to help you change your life and achieve your dreams. You know, there are thousands of women from all over the world who are taking control of their finances, and I want you to be one of them. I also have some options for you guys. You could do pay in full for $247. You could also do 3 payments to make it a little more affordable. You can still get the same savings, and you could do $93 a month for 3 months. But you guys, there's so many women who are living their best life. I want to share this story with you before we jump into some Q&A. My amazing past client, Christina, you can follow Christina on Instagram. She actually started her own business because she was able to quit her full-time job and start a VA business. So follow her on Instagram. But this was her testimonial a couple of years ago when she first took the course. She said, I'm so incredibly grateful I found Sami. I tried her course. I was going through a divorce. She is a single mom of 2. She had credit card debts, loans. She was overwhelmed. She was in a job that she was unhappy with, but she had to support her kids, right? She was trying to handle things as a single mom. She had never handled her budget before her divorce. By the time she completed the course, she felt confident in handling her finances. She set her budget up. She had her bank accounts organized. She paid off 1 credit card by the time she finished the course. That's amazing. But what is even more amazing is that Christina actually took on working with me last summer with one-on-one coaching to kind of add on top of the course because she was ready. She had finally made enough progress with her budget that she was ready to quit her full-time job and pursue her entrepreneurial dreams. So she worked one-on-one with me and got even more results. This actually was a few months ago, where she wrote this in our Facebook group. I've been dreaming about writing this post for a couple of years, crying happy tears right now. I paid off all of my credit cards, 20,000 worth of debt gone. Actually, Christina is set to be completely debt-free sometime in August. So any day now, she will be 100% debt-free. So that's amazing. So you guys, all of the details are provided in the link. I'm going to pop it in the chat in just a second, or you could follow that link that I provided. The tools that you need are available. The questions The answers to your questions are there. The motivation is there. The support you've been looking for, it's all there. Okay. So here is that website again. I'm going to pop it in the chat. I'm going to pop out of screen share mode in just a second. Let me get that link for you guys. I will also send it in the replay. Amazing, amazing. Okay. I am going to stop screen sharing and we are going to do some questions. So let me know if you guys have any questions. I don't want to take up too much more of your time, so pop them in the comment box if you can. Let me know what you thought. What were some of your bigger takeaways from today? I'm going to take a sip of coffee. Look at us finishing on time. Go us. I'm so excited. I really hope that that was helpful to you guys. I was really excited about this workshop. Yes, the 2.0 version of the course does include the sheets as well. Yep. So they are in there, and we actually do a lot of screen shares. So I do slides like you saw today. Actually, some of the slides that we shared, like the budget period link slides that you guys saw, I actually literally just copied those from the course slides. That's actually part of the course. So if you liked that, imagine that times, like, I think there's 40 or 50 lessons, something like that. So it is the slides, and there are also lots of screen share of me like setting up the worksheets with you. So we kind of pop back and forth a lot. And so, yeah, you get the worksheets, and then I will also help you set them up. Super, super exciting. Yes, yes. Any other questions? Any questions about anything that we covered today? Any questions about the course? If you sign up today, module 1 is already up. The rest of it will be being added throughout the week. And so it'll be open to the general public on the 21st for the full price, but you can get that early bird discount as long as you purchase it before the 20th. So I'm so excited. I am ready. I have been working on the updates all summer, brainstorming and recording lessons and making slides, and it's just been a whole process. But I'm so, so proud of it. So, so exciting. Let's see. And then also let me know over in like the Facebook group, or send me a DM on Instagram if you guys are going to purchase. When you do sign up, I would love to cheer you on. I love to see people joining. It's so exciting to me. Let me know what goals you're working on, all of that, so I can cheer you on. Yeah. All right. All right, you guys. Well, I'm going to send out the replay link. If you have any questions that you come across later, if you think of anything about the course that you have a question about, you feel free to hit reply to any of those emails, and I will get back to you as soon as possible, or just shoot me a DM on Instagram or post it in the Facebook group. We'll get your questions answered. Thank you so much, Kimberly. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, everybody who joined live. I really appreciate you guys' time, especially on a Saturday morning. I know that's super valuable time. So I appreciate you hanging out with me. I hope that you guys got some really great information today. I hope you guys can go ahead and get your budget set up, get started. Yes, Ali says, thank you so much. Just help me find some holes in my process. Exactly. Yeah, just step it up a little bit, step it up another notch, right? So hopefully that is helpful to you guys. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'm going to let you guys go. Bye, guys.